Hello everybody, this is the Lone Coder and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, we are going to be making a Chrome browser extension that blocks ads. You've probably seen some other ad blocking Chrome extensions out there, such as AdBlock or AdBlock Plus. There's many of them out there, but what you may not know is that they are actually extremely easy to make. And all we need is two simple JavaScript files and a minimal amount of code. So from today on, you will never be bugged with those banner ads that are loaded onto websites and give you viruses and everything. You are going to be officially protected. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up a terminal and I'm going to change my directory into a code directory I have. And then inside of here, I'm just going to make a directory to contain all of my Chrome extensions. So that's going to be just a directory called Chrome extensions. I'm going to cd into that. And now I'm going to make a new directory and it's going to be called simple ad blocker. And that directory is going to contain the files for our Chrome extension. So I'm going to change my directory into there. And now I'm only going to create two files. So I'm going to use the touch command to create those files, and they are going to be manifest.json. And then the second one is rules.json. And you'll notice that these are not actually JavaScript files, which is awesome because we only have to write some super simple JSON code in order to block most of the ads in our browser. So let's go ahead and create those files, and I'm going to open VS Code inside of this directory. So I'm going to expand this up and close this welcome screen, and first I'm going to go to manifest.json. Every Chrome extension has to have a manifest.json file, and basically it just provides metadata about your extension. So for example, I'm going to open that up, and inside of here we are going to have a name property, and the name is just going to be simple ad blocker. And after that I'm going to add a comma, and then the version is going to be a string. It's going to be 1.0.0, and then after that we are going to have a property called manifest_version, and that is going to be equal to 3. Then after that we are going to make a permissions property, and the permissions property is just an array of strings, and the only permission that we need from the users is going to be called declarative net request. And now that we have these permissions, we are going to add another property, and this property is going to be called declarative_net_request. And this property is going to be equal to an object. And the only property on this object is going to be called rules_resources. Or I'm sorry, not rules, this is going to be singular, so rule_resources. And it is going to be an array. And inside of this array, we are going to only have one object. It's going to have an ID, and we can really name this ID anything we want, but inside of the Chrome documentation they use ruleset_1, so I'm just going to stick with that. And then in order for our rules to work, we have to set enabled to a value of true, and then we have to provide a path for that rule set, and that path is going to be the path to our rules.json file. So basically what we're doing here is we are setting up a set of rules for our Chrome extension to operate on. And you will see very soon how this can block ads once we get to that, but for now we're just going to make the path simply rules.json, since they are in the same directory. So that is actually all the code we need for our manifest.json. So let's go ahead and go to our rules.json file. And these are going to be all the rules that apply to our extension. So pretty much all we are going to do is make two rules. And what they're going to do is block any requests to the two URLs where ads commonly come from. That is doubleclick.net and googleadservices.com. So all we're going to do is make two separate rules to block those two URLs. So in order to do that, inside of this rules.json file, we are going to create an array, and each rule is represented by an object. So let's go ahead and open that up. We are also going to give this an ID. It's just going to be 1. And then we are also going to make the priority of this rule the highest priority, which is 1. Then we need to specify an action property, and this action property is equal to an object. And inside of this object, we are going to specify the type of the action, and that type is going to be block, signifying that we are blocking URLs. Then finally, we are going to create a condition property, and this condition property, similarly to action, is going to be an object, and the only property on this object is going to be URL filter. So this is going to filter out any URLs that we don't want, and so we are just going to set it to one URL. And this first one is going to be blocking doubleclick.net, so we are going to want to block it via any protocol. So whether it's HTTP or HTTPS, we are going to want to block it. So that's going to be *:/ signifying that this applies to any protocol, and then it's going to be doubleclick doubleclick.net/*. But at the same time, many ads that make requests to doubleclick.net are requesting a subdomain of doubleclick.net, and I don't know what exactly they're called, but it might be something like ads.doubleclick.net, and we want to block all of those, so we're actually going to add another asterisk before doubleclick.net to block all of those subdomains as well. So now this rule is finished, and that will block any outgoing request to doubleclick.net, and the second rule is going to block any request to Google Ad Services. So let's go ahead and add a comma and add another object, and this one is going to have an ID of 2. It is also going to have a priority of 1, so let's go ahead and add that in there. It is going to have the same type of action, which is an object with a type property of block. And we are going to have a similar condition on this rule, which is an object with a URL filter property. And we are going to have a similar pattern for this. It's going to be asterisk, colon, / to cover any protocol. And then this one is going to be Google Ad Services.com /*. So now we are actually ready to test out our extension. So in order to install this extension, I'm going to open up the browser, and the location you're going to want to go to is going to be Chrome / extensions. And once you are here, you can see up here in the top right, we have this little box and it says developer mode. You're going to want to turn that on. And then over here, we can see we are given more options. So we are going to click the button that says load unpacked, and we are going to navigate to the directory that contains our Chrome extension. So that's going to be code. And then inside of here, we're going to go to Chrome extensions, and we can see it says simple ad blocker. So go ahead and select that and open it up. And you can see that our extension was installed. So in order to test it, first of all, I'm going to go down here and turn the extension off. And there is a site that is good for testing ads, and it's just going to be speedtest.net. That's not what it's actually for, it's just that when you go to it and you wait a few seconds, you can see that there are a few banner ads and some sidebar ads showing up, and they are very obtrusive and obvious, so it's perfect for this. So now let's go ahead and turn our extension back on, and you can see that there are no errors. Normally, if there are errors in the extension, they will show up as an error button right here. So now let's go back to speed test and refresh the page and see if the ads are still showing up. Okay, so I've waited for about 10 seconds now, and you can see that there are no ads on this website anymore. So our ad blocker is working with just a few lines of code in 2 JSON files. And that is extremely cool because that means you don't have to pay for a separate ad blocker. You can do this by yourself. The only downside to this is that it actually does not work on YouTube ads. Of course, you can make it work on YouTube ads, but that is quite complicated, and there are other extensions that do this. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed making this. Obviously, it was quite easy and only took me a few minutes to make and to prepare this video. So if you enjoyed, I'd appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to the channel. I hope this helped you out in some way. It was a fun little project, I think. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.